So if you know Happy Baby and you want to do both legs at the same time, that's totally fine. But sometimes one side is a little bit easier on us if our hips are really tight or our back is really painful. All right, so we're going to remove the strap. We'll do that on the other side. Bring your left knee up and out toward your armpit. Lasso your foot. And go ahead and find that on the other side. So really bring the knee down toward the shoulder, toward the floor. Keep this hip down with your hand. And breathe. All right, so now we're going to release that strap and return that foot to the mat. And we're going to come to our hands and knees. So gently just roll to one side, and then you can press yourself up, and we'll come to hands and knees. If your knees are sensitive, I recommend putting a blanket underneath them. You can also take another yoga mat and kind of double that up and stick it underneath your knees. So we're going to do a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So bring the hands a little bit forward of the shoulders. Let the index fingers point straight ahead and spread the fingers wide. Knees are directly under the hips and the feet come straight back. You can tuck or untuck the toes. It's up to you. So on the inhale breath, let the tailbone rise. Belly drops down toward the mat. Lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the belly in, arch the upper back like an angry cat. Head comes down last. We'll go the other way. Inhale, tailbone rises, belly drops down toward the mat. Lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, tailbone tucks, belly draws toward the spine, heart draws toward the spine. Head comes down last, just like a Halloween cat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck. So you're going to do this at your own pace with your own breath for a couple of more rounds. Really flexing, extending the spine, finding that whole range of movement all through the spine, pressing through the hands, really pressing into the upper back on that arch. And coming to neutral. So we're going to do a couple of lunges next. All right, so you're going to watch your blocks for this next part, and we're going to do some low lunges. Okay, so what I'm going to do is have the blocks to kind of give me a little bit more room to get my leg through. And especially if you have a belly that's growing, then you're going to want to not kind of run into yourself here. So I'm going to take both blocks and bring them kind of to the left half of my mat. And then step my right foot forward. And I'm using the blocks to keep my chest lifted up. My right toes are pointed straight ahead. My left knee is down on the mat, and I've got my toe extended. You can tuck that toe if you want or keep it long. And then I'm just going to start to drop my hips down toward the mat. So the main thing you want to check for is this knee, we don't want to go past the ankle. So if that happens, you just need to scoot your foot forward. Really press down equally through your foot and also through your knee so you're rooted down to the mat. And then just let the hips sink down toward the mat. So you can bring your hand up on your thigh, you can stay on the block, you can walk the block back, and really just find a way to start to let the hips relax. Let gravity do the work. And breathe. If you feel like your belly is crashing into your thigh, just kind of move it off to the side so you can move it to the center. If that still doesn't work for you, you can crawl your right foot a little more toward the side of your mat so you've got a little wider base for your lunge. All right, so I'm going to bring both my hands to the blocks, and I'm going to straighten this leg and then just drag that foot back so my knees meet up. I'll walk my blocks to the other side and bring my left foot forward this time. So again, I'm just going to make sure that I'm stable here, and then I'm going to start to sink my pelvis down towards the mat. Now for me, it's a little more comfortable to bring my hand up to my thigh and kind of give myself a little bit of leverage here, or you can keep your hands on the blocks. Maybe it will be more comfortable for you to be this way, with your hands kind of framing your foot. Just experiment, see what feels good to your body. Make sure you make room for your belly, so you're either going to kind of just move everything to the center or crawl your foot out toward the side of the mat. Lift the chest, let the pelvis sink down toward the mat, opening up through the hip flexors. Keep breathing into the belly. Good. All right, so I'm going to plant my hands on the blocks and then drag this foot back to meet the other. And then I'm going to come to standing. So I'll bring my blocks out in front and then just step one foot up and step the other foot up. So you kind of come into a low forward fold here. And then I'm just going to roll up gently, one vertebra at a time, until I come to standing. We're going to do a couple of poses here that are really great for the hips and the low back, standing poses. And so the first one we're going to do is Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. To come into this, you're going to stand facing the long side of your mat, and then go ahead and widen your feet to a wide-legged stance. Turn your right toes out so they face right to the short side of your mat, and the left toes in, just about 30 degrees. You might have to play with the angle of that foot. See what's comfortable for you, for your knee, for your hip. And then what we're going to do is bend into this front knee. Again, make sure the knee doesn't come past the ankle. If it does, just crawl that foot forward a little bit. Take your right forearm, place it on your right thigh. Take your left hand to your hip and spin your chest open. So this is a twist, and it's also a lunge, and it's a lot of things, but we really want that twisting motion. So your shoulders are stacked one over the other. Use that leverage of your arm on your thigh to get your chest open. And then you can lift your arm straight up into the air. Take a moment here, breathe. And if you'd like, you can try taking that arm up and over the ear with the palm facing the floor. So this way you have one long line from your back heel all the way up the side body and out that arm. And then use that lifted arm to cartwheel yourself back up. We're going to parallel the feet, and then left toes go out, right toes go in. Go ahead and bend through that front knee. Left forearm comes to thigh. Spin the chest open, and then lift that arm up. And you can either stay here, or maybe try the arm up and over your ear. And then experiment with where your neck feels good to look. Maybe up the lifted arm, maybe at the floor, maybe just straight ahead in front of you. And breathe. And then use that lifted arm to bring you back up to center. Parallel the feet, and then just step the feet together. That's it. Thanks for downloading and practicing with me. I hope you come see me again at bodypositiveyoga.com. Namaste.